Good morning, guys. This is Armand with Our Community Now. I am here with Pastor B with the Dream Pantry, and we're here to talk a little bit about the Dream Pantry and just get a little more information about it. How are you this morning, Pastor?
Doing well. Got coffee. Sun's out. It's a beautiful day, man.
It's almost Friday, too, so.
Thank the Lord. Well, yeah.
It's almost Friday.
It made me think about how busy Friday is.
Yeah, Friday is super busy,
Yeah.
but it's a good day.
It's a great day.
So, Pastor, last week we were able to see you in action at the Dream Pantry. It was a lot of people, a lot of donations, a lot of things that were going on, and I was just overwhelmed by just the outcome of people that were there. Can you tell us a little more about how the Dream Pantry started, what the foundation is, where the idea came from?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's part of the program of the Denver Dream Center.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I moved here 14 years ago, started serving in the city, and every year it's evolved. We say intervention, prevention. So we work with guys getting out of prison, people coming off the streets, addiction recovery, you name it, but a lot of at-risk youth. We were just talking a minute ago, sports is a big part of what we do. But when COVID hit, things shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of people were told to stay at home, but there's a lot of people that can't afford to stay at home. And they start looking at what resources and where the gaps are. And for us, it started as a concern, like what's the concern out there, where are people starting to feel pressure?
Right.
And that concern's become, a crisis. The longer that this has gone on, there's a lot of people now, schools some are starting, some aren't. Kids are still at home. A lot of families are dependent upon school meals. Mm-hmm. And food is something that everybody needs. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, what it looks like. And so we started a few months ago working with Borden Farms out of Texas. Every Monday we get about 4,000 gallons of milk delivered. And with the Nuggets gone and the Avs gone, it freed up the Pepsi Center. Cronky Sports has been an amazing partner and great to work with. And so that's a great, easy, accessible spot in the city. And so the Dream Pantry has grown to where a few months back, the CARES Act was passed out of Washington, D.C. Several $1 billion allocated for literally farmers who are still producing crops and food and milk and meat. But there's not big conventions, there's not weddings, there's not outdoor things that are happening. Hotels are struggling. So there's been an excess of food. It just needs to get out to people that need it.
Absolutely.
And so we've been able to partner with them and work with our city and great friends. And so now every Friday we have about 6 semi trucks, 200,000 to 300,000 pounds of food, fresh produce, milk, and meat that gets sent to the Pepsi Center. And then volunteers come and some of it we send out to partners and get out to people in need. But as you saw last week, as word gets out, the heart-touching part is there's so many people that a lot of single moms that load up their kids and they just drive through the drive-through service part. And that for us is such a joy because we get to fill their cars full of food and produce and milk and meat.
And touching a little more on that, I saw that there's not really anything needed to get this food. I know that a lot of people are a little hesitant about, meeting requirements
Right.
or, being required or a necessity for
Yeah.
that. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you can receive this food? Is it literally you can just drive up and say, hey, we need some help, or?
Yeah, honestly, it's that simple. One of our core values is see a need, meet a need. And we don't want to complicate stuff. There's a lot of, maybe it's an organization or a moment that people have had. It's a bait and switch. They come for food, but they have to sit through a production or a presentation or fill out all kind of paperwork. And if people are willing to drive through a line to get food, we want to just give them what they need. And so there's no catch to it. There's organizations that come that we try to mobilize to go out into their communities. There's several large neighborhoods where they're low-income housing projects. We've identified several neighborhoods where there's a lot of kids and families that aren't mobile. And so we don't expect them to hop on the bus to come get boxes and take it back. So we send out volunteers to deliver it. But at the end of the day, it's that simple. If we've got it, we want to give it. The worst thing that'll happen for us is that we run out of food before the line, stops. And so there's no catch. It really is show up every Friday, 8 o'clock. We start prepping. The line is 9 o'clock to noon, and people can just drive through.
Absolutely. Besides the Dream Pantry, I see that you work here at the Senior Assistance Center. What other programs are you a part of that help the community? We would love to get the word out and make sure that people know it's not just the Dream Pantry. There are other organizations that help as well.
We may have to do like 10 other interviews to cover all of that. But
Gotcha.
again, our heart is, one is built on a simple word, right? The word's hope.
Right.
And we know that, you know, there's so many stories in that. It's a single mom with a lot of kids, just trying to make sure her kids are in school and they have clothes and they're staying out of trouble. It's guys getting out of prison right now. If you look up in the news, community corrections in the city of Denver is a mess. They're trying to reinvent all of that and what that looks like. Recidivism rates and mass incarceration. You know, if people have time to do a research project, it doesn't take much time. But you know, I tell people, you know, in the United States, we have less than 5% of the world's population, but we have over 25% of the world's incarcerated population. And it's a mess. You know, recidivism rates, guys get out and within, you know, 6 to 12 months, you know, half of them will reoffend and go back. So we do a lot of reentry work. We run contracts for the city, and we work with GRID, which is the Gang Reduction Initiative of Denver. And so we do intervention and prevention work for gang members and people impacted by that. And again, statistically, right now, our city's a mess. We normally average around 52 homicides a year, which, you know, is an unfortunate number to say. We're already over 60 this year. So halfway through this year, we're set to double what that looks like. And yeah, you look around our city and it's bent up frustration and protests, and then it's getting younger and younger to where a lot of the shootings are 14 and 15 year olds. And they just don't care. It's drive-bys we had just 2 weeks ago down off of Federal. You know, several families had gathered and there was a drive-by shooting and 9 people shot, 6 of them were kids. And so there's just a lack of care and concern in that. So really our organization, the Denver Dream Center, it's intervention prevention. So we work exclusively with men and women coming out of prison. We have programs that work for reentry for the incarcerated. We work with gangs. We do recovery. But again, one of my favorites is we call it Adopt a Block. One of the things that we've learned a long time ago, people get excited to go serve a lot of times, and they'll go out to a neighborhood and want to pick up trash or remove graffiti or do a good deed. But if you go back to that neighborhood 2 days later, a week later, the graffiti's back up, the trash is back out there, no difference has been made. And so 10 years ago, we started what we just call Adopt a Block, that we wanted to adopt a neighborhood, a couple of blocks, and keep showing up until you saw a difference being made. We wanted to establish long-term relationships, we wanted to get to know the kids, what schools they go to. So we do simple things like we throw birthday parties for kids. We make sure that they have school supplies to go back to school. But every Saturday, we go out into those neighborhoods and we play sports, we drop off food, and we just have a form that says, how can we help you? And so, you know, moms can fill out if they need rental assistance, if they need academic recovery stuff for their kids. We have our Dream Center Academy is our tutoring and after school programming. So we partner again with DPS and into some of the low income neighborhoods where there's just a gap of after school programs. And there's some people that love, not me, but some people love to do math and science and try to remember middle school English. And it really is all about hope. So again, there's a lot of specific programs. It's all on the website at denverdreamcenter.org. Awesome. Easy way for people just to like look through and say like, I could support that. I could get behind that. Sometimes people can donate food. Most of us, again, I got 3 boys, and I swear they grow out of their shoes in like 3 weeks, and they play every sport imaginable. And so for me, instead of trying to sell it on Nextdoor or eBay, it's just easier to bring down shoes or clothes that still look good and are nice, and then we take it to the neighborhoods and we bless families that need it. So honestly, it's a hard thing for us. There's a million ways to get involved and serve.
That sounds really good. Just hearing that, I'm even excited. Just interviewing now, I want to help out. So we do have the Dream Pantry tomorrow. What's on slate for tomorrow? I heard that there's going to be a couple of guests that are there. It's a pretty big guests that are going to be there. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going to happen tomorrow? Yeah, again, what's exciting for us, we talk about impact and influence. They're words that I use all the time. And so for the Dream Center, we want to have impact. We want to show like what we do is producing results, right? The number of people getting fed, the amount of food going out, clothes, assistance, resources are being met, so that if people are giving dollars or they're making donations, they know that it's being used for good things. But we've also talked over years, we want to have influence. And as our city wakes up every day and they wrestle with how do we deal with violence? How do we deal with COVID? How do we deal with shortcomings in poverty and homelessness? We want to be a part of that solution. I feel like there's a lot of people that are raising their voices with frustration. Very few people are raising their voices with solutions. And so we want to be solution based. And so we want people to plug in and get connected and be involved. So tomorrow is going to be incredible because we have the mayor's coming out, and
obviously the dude's busy,
Right.
right? If you
Super
look at
busy.
right, good and bad. There's people that love him and people that hate him, but at the end of the day, he's a personal friend, and I know that his heart is to help people that are in need.
Absolutely.
And so he's taking time out to just come by and love on the community, help hand out food, and be a part of that. We'll have some of the police chiefs will be there, and Denver police officers again, sort of humanizing the shield that, as much animosity as there is that exists right now,
Right.
that there are good police officers, and we still have to be community. And then we bring out guys from corrections that are needing community service, and they used to terrorize the neighborhoods, and now they're giving back to the neighborhoods. And Cronky Sports is involved. They'll have some people out there, and really it's just a lot of volunteers, and it's going to get really busy and going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Absolutely. So what time does it start tomorrow? What is the earliest time people can show up?
So really, if volunteers want to come, they can sign up at 8 o'clock is when we get everything organized. The trucks get there at 7, so our team gets there to prep.
Okay.
8 o'clock, we start unloading the pallets, prepping the areas. Even last week, with Fox News covering it, we don't initially open the line till 9 o'clock, but people were in line at 7:30 in the morning.
Right.
And so there's volunteers that are sort of like the host team that just walk the line of cars and get people to smile and encourage them for the day.
Absolutely.
And get them ready. So for us, the food's a point of contact. We want to create an experience. So 8 o'clock is great, but really at any point between 8 and up till noon, people can come by and volunteer. Stay for 4 hours or stay for 4 minutes. We'll plug you in.
That sounds great, Pastor. I really do want to thank you for your time. This was a great interview. You really answered a lot of questions, and I can't wait to be there. We're going to be live tomorrow, guys. Our community now will be broadcasting the Dream Pantry, so be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you, Pastor B, for your time. We do greatly appreciate it, and we hope you have a great day. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.